Hey, 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 friends. I am tuning in. Hopefully I'm not bumping that camera too much. I, again, am on my phone because I'm terrified to update Chrome so that I can use this new Facebook producer software they have. And frankly, the reason is that I'll have to re-log in to all the software that I use on the daily, right? So today we are talking about autoimmune protocols, fad diets, whatever you want to call them. And if you are making the mistake of, giving up different things, like maybe nothing's working, we're going to talk about autoimmune protocols, why it might not be working, and what you can do about it instead. So, are you tired of trying to figure out what in the heck you should do nutritionally for your autoimmune condition, or maybe overall for your autoimmune condition, right? Are you wondering specifically if there is a particular autoimmune diet that you must follow? And have you tried everything, right? Given up lots of foods only to find that you're still having symptoms. So if you fall into any of those categories, I am talking to you today. Let me know that you can see, I'm assuming you can see me, but also let me know that you can hear me in the comments. Again, I'm using my phone. So here's the thing. If you fall into any of those three categories, or maybe a category that I haven't mentioned yet, it doesn't make you weird or wrong or even incapable of healing from your autoimmune disease. Even autoimmune diseases like diabetes are almost entirely reversible, if not entirely reversible, when you find the right thing for you. And it's super confusing because there's a lot of people out there saying, do this, do that. And hand up, I am guilty of that too, because you want to get people's attention, right? You want people to understand that this might be something that you can do for your condition, but ultimately you really need the education and information and assessment that sometimes DIY just doesn't provide for you, right? So what I end up with is seeing a lot of people that have read all the books and done all the things that the experts say online. They've been DIYing it for a while. They're desperate for something to work. And then they come to me and they're super upset and sad and suffering from symptoms and now suffering from emotional things because they've given up all of their favorite foods. And if you tell me that you're not emotionally attached to particular foods, I would argue, because most people have some food that they're emotionally attached to in some way, even if it's just a memory from childhood, right? So we're changing that today, right? We are talking about foods you can add to your diet so that you are helping to heal, that you can we're going to get rid of some major misconceptions about certain ingredients and things that you should do, favorite foods that you have to give up. And we're also going to talk about if you're still suffering from symptoms, right? So if I'm just popping into your newsfeed and you're like, who the heck are you? I'm Audrey Christie. I'm a functional and integrative nurse nutritionist and energy medicine practitioner. I help women stop chasing symptoms, stop masking symptoms, find relief, remission, and ultimately heal from autoimmune conditions. It is possible. You can heal your body. So I've seen it thousands and thousands of times, some version of, Audrey, I've tried everything. I'm taking XYZ supplement protocol. I'm eating 100% keto, paleo, vegan, what's another one? I'm doing Weight Watchers, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not getting any better. My symptoms are not improving. You could literally swap any diet in for, any diet plan in for that. AIP, low FODMAPs, no FODMAPs, raw vegan, fruit vegan, paleo. I'm doing the carnivore diet. Any of those, right? You get the idea. People come from all over, from all different diet plans and have the same problem. And here's the thing. If you just throw spaghetti at the wall, right, by trying whatever diet plan is popular, whatever pops up on your Amazon list, whatever's shown in your news feed, then guess what you get? You get some spaghetti stuck to the wall, right? You might get a little bit of relief for a short period of time, but ultimately you get a big mess, right? And now you have a big mess and you're not eating any of the things that you want to eat, and life is a super big pain in the ass, frankly, because you've got to do all of these things for your autoimmune condition. And the reason why this stuff doesn't work, the reason why everyone can't go buy the keto cookbook, everyone can't go buy the raw vegan cookbook, everyone can't go buy the paleo or Whole30 or whatever it is book and make it work, is this one little thing called bioindividuality. What that means is that even if you and your twin are genetically the same, you're identical twins, you're going to have a different expression of your genes. You're unique based on your exposures, based on your stress levels, based on all sorts of different facets of your life and exposure. You're 100% unique, especially in your gut microbiome. Now, real quick, I absolutely love getting feedback, so I want to share this little tidbit from you. I get ratings and reviews on my podcast, comments and messages, questions on social, all that kind of stuff. It helps me to help more people, the more comments and interactions you leave. And I'm always up for a good scientific debate too, if you disagree with something that I say. I love to get into the science with people because science changes and I do my best to keep up, but sometimes somebody else is right too, you know? So I had an IG follower ask this past week, ask about tinnitus. Is tinnitus reversible? And she goes on to say she had anxiety for many years and then about 2.5 years ago developed insomnia and then tinnitus. So tinnitus is ringing in the ears. And this particular gal works for a reishi mushroom company. If you guys have hung around long, you know that I talk a lot about reishi mushrooms and adaptogens and how they're super beneficial on a whole lot of different levels. But even after taking the reishi mushrooms, her anxiety healed, her insomnia healed, but she still has tinnitus and recently was diagnosed with gut dysbiosis, which is the medical or scientific term for leaky gut. Now, she wanted to know my thoughts. Is tinnitus reversible? So here's the thing. Here's the lesson that I want you to take from this. 1, tinnitus is reversible, yes. 2, she tried a common and really good solution for reducing inflammation and healing her body. And she got partial results with one big problem, tinnitus ringing in the ears, still remaining. Well, guess what? It didn't heal tinnitus because of that pesky bio-individuality. She's unique. So it's just, now reishi mushrooms not hurting her, but just like the topics that we're talking about today, paleo or vegan or keto or Weight Watchers or any of those things, everyone's unique. And so you'll have a percentage of the population that it'll help and it'll help for a little bit, and then a bunch that it won't help at all, and then a bunch that it makes worse, right? So just to put a bug in your ear here, if you think that bio-individuality only applies to nutrition and supplements and natural holistic healing techniques, you are mistaken, my friend. It applies to pharmaceuticals too. Over-the-counter meds, right? That cholesterol pill, that steroid, that birth control pill, that allergy medicine, that ibuprofen. I could go on and on and on. Those things are blanket applied to people with X diagnosis and Y symptoms, right? And it's not useful or effective or, sometimes even harmful for a lot of people. So for this, I could go off on a tangent on that, but bio-individuality does not just apply to the food that you put in your mouth and the stress levels and the situations that you're in. It applies to everything, including pharmaceuticals and over-the-counter medication. For this submitted question, what you need to know is that some of the things that are touted as oh so healthy for so many, because it is, can actually seriously aggravate and cause tinnitus. Can you guess what the, not root cause, because this isn't the reason why she couldn't do this, but on the path to the root cause, what we discovered was causing the tinnitus and the ringing in her ears? Eating raw veggies, right? Crazy, right? Raw veggies can actually cause the eustachian tubes in the ears to constrict, which leads to ear ringing. Now, does this mean this gal can never eat raw veggies again? Absolutely not. It just means that that's what's causing it right now. So we can temporarily stop those symptoms by getting rid of the raw veggies, working to heal her gut, and then returning to adding some, not complete, but adding some raw veggies to her diet. So this is just an example for you for very helpful and healing for a lot of people. Like who is raw veggies bad for, right? But because she had other issues going on, these raw veggies were actually adding to her symptoms. Okay, so I hope you guys are tracking with me. So a lot of times that leads you to like, okay, great, Audrey, like, so anything could be the problem. It might not be dairy or gluten. It might not be that I'm eating 85% processed foods and 15% animal products, which that is a problem, but leaving out all fruits and veggies is a big problem. So let's talk about what to do instead, right? And I'm sorry if I bust your bubble and you just spent $12 or $19 or $29.99 on the latest diet book that's promising to heal all of your autoimmune systems, or all of your autoimmune systems and cure all of your ailments. But at least there's probably some good recipes in there. But the good news is that you can take steps to tune into your body, get a sense of what's right for you and what's not right for you. So one of my favorite strategies for doing this, because it's difficult to blanket tell everyone. There's a few things that everyone should either avoid or should be an anomaly. So it should be something that you should only have every once in a while. Gluten is one of those things that is inflammatory for most every person. Not every person is celiac, but gluten is inflammatory for most people. But there is some studies showing that if you can convert your microbiome, that there might be a way for you to have gluten exposures, occasional gluten, without it becoming a big problem. Just like dairy is a problem for most people, right? If you have seasonal allergies, like right now it's spring, so if you're outside sniffling and sneezing and the pollen is making your eyes water and itch and you're coughing, and you're eating cow's dairy, then you should probably get rid of that, right? That's a big trigger. But the interesting part is that there's not a lab test that can do this for you, right? There's no definitive answer that can tell you that yes, you're sensitive to this, because it changes, and lab results are just a snapshot in time. They can be helpful. Trends can be even more helpful, but especially when we're talking about sensitivities and allergies and intolerances, it's just not the gold standard. It's not the gold standard in functional and integrative work, and it's not the gold standard in GI practices that are up to date. And I'll say up to date because I had a conversation with another client last week needing a GI doctor, and I was gonna have to send her to North Carolina because the ones here in my area are about 16 years behind the curve in the kind of treatments that they're recommending. But I've digressed. So one of the strategies I like to use is adding stuff to your plate, right? Fill it up with good stuff and it will crowd out the bad. And try not to ever give anybody a definitive, you cannot have this ever. There might be a brief period of time where you can't have it ever, but the flip side of that is as you heal, as your gut heals, then you can have those things occasionally. So let's look at things that we can add to our plate today. Now, if you are like the tinnitus example that I gave you, and you're someone who is allergic to avocados, I shouldn't use that word, sensitive or intolerant of avocados or leafy greens or nightshades or any of those things, there's probably a reason why that is. That is not the root cause of your symptoms. That is an indicator of where to go to find the root cause. It's probably within your gut microbiome. So there's a pattern that you can do to reintroduce that, allow the good bacteria to build back up, and then you can have those fresh fruits and veggies again. So adding to the plate, you wanna make sure that when you're adding stuff to your plate, you're adding good stuff. You're adding stuff that is organic, and if you can't find it organic, then check the Environmental Working Group's list for that dirty dozen you've probably heard about by now. So broccoli, for example. If I need broccoli for a recipe, or if I need it for a salad, or if I just want it in the house and I can't find organic, it is something that I'm flicking messages off my phone, I apologize. It is something that I will buy non-organically because it's not on the EWG's dirty dozen list. Strawberries, for example, if I can't find them organically, or I can't find them at a good price and organic, which, if you try to buy strawberries in Texas in January and you try to buy organic, one, they're gonna be sour, and two, they're gonna be $10 for a quart or a pint. So strawberries is something that I'll find a substitute. I'll either go get frozen organic berries or use blueberries or raspberries, find a substitute for that. So you wanna make sure when you're adding stuff to your plate, you're doing it as organically as possible. You're adding organic fruits and vegetables. Specifically, when we're looking to reduce inflammation within your sensitivities and intolerances, you want to look at things like papayas, wild blueberries, raspberries, strawberries. All of those berries need to be organic, friends. Celery. Now, a question I get a lot is, should I be drinking celery juice a la the medical medium every morning? So I'm not against drinking celery juice as long as it's not your only strategy. There are definitely some benefits to drinking celery juice if you can get it down, one, because it does not taste good. And so I'd rather you mix it with something else to get it down if you need to. It's not a good long-term strategy, and it's not a good solo strategy. So it can't be the only thing that you do. Also, it has to be organic celery, or you're just creating a whole nother layer of toxicity and issues in your body that will come up later. So you'll get better for a period of time, and then you'll fall off, and it'll be worse than it was before. Hope that makes sense. Cruciferous vegetables, so cauliflower and broccoli, also good things to add to your plate. Cucumbers, leafy greens. Now there are some caveats there. If you have a thyroid problem, there are particular leafy greens you don't want to be adding a lot of kale, right? So there's some little caveats in there that you need to understand. Sprouts and microgreens, super healthy, barely have any taste to them. You can add them on top of anything. I highly recommend them. They're also really fun and easy to grow. If you like gardening, or especially if you have kids at home, we grow ours in the house most of the year. Sweet potatoes is also another really good food to add to your plate. Now, I'm not saying you can't ever have potatoes. I had mashed potatoes last night with my dinner, but sweet potatoes is something that you can add that will help bring down inflammation. Think herbs, so cilantro, garlic, ginger, and turmeric. And then, I've already touched on this a little bit, adaptogen mushrooms like chaga and reishi can be beneficial as well. Now, when you're adding these things, again, this is going to help, but it won't fix it. Our goal here with trying to figure out what exactly you can eat, what exactly feels good in your human suit, is to take notice, to add more stuff, more good stuff to your plate. Don't try to stop yourself from eating anything else at this point. Just add more good stuff to your plate. And then also make sure that when you do, you're paying attention to how you feel for 12, 24, 48, 72 hours after that. Now, the list I gave you, those are not the only good foods to eat, right? It's not even a list of, a tiny fraction of all the healing foods to eat. But you want to weave them in as often as possible, because by and large, most of the people that come see me are like, Audrey, I've tried everything, but it's just not working. And then we start to break down what they're eating. What they're actually putting in their body is about 80 to 85% processed foods, right? And everything, I get it. Carrots are a little bit processed, right? But the closer you can get it to the way Mother Nature created it, the better. But we're talking 85% of foods out of a package, and then 15 to 20% of foods that are animal products, right? And that's not gonna heal anybody's anything, right? That's just not the way it works well. So try to weave these foods in as often as possible. Try them cooked, try them raw, try them blended. See which foods make you feel vibrant, make you feel good, energetic, and which ones bring you down and make you sluggish. Now, and that doesn't mean not ever. If broccoli makes you sluggish, that's not saying never ever have it again, but maybe that's not the star of your show, of your plate, of your healing food repertoire, right? Okay, so if you're hopping from nutrition plan to nutrition plan, and hoping that like an out-of-the-box restriction-based autoimmune diet will work for you, I would encourage you to stop and try something new. Try the strategies that I just described, right? And if you'll do that, then you'll find that one, your healing journey is a lot less frustrating. It happens a lot faster, and it's sustainable. Now, this is one of 5 steps I've created for you in a 5-step resource. You can download that at audreychristie.com/autoimmune. Those that download it will get early access to what I'm calling Gold Standard. And it's going to be just a little free course on how to figure out, without doing the testing, how to figure out what foods you are sensitive to, because it's a big step that a lot of people, a lot of clinicians miss as well. But you can download these simple steps. Next week, we're going to talk about sleep, which is another one of the steps. But these simple steps, 5 steps that you can start today to start healing your autoimmune disease. And they're the same theme, really. So simple, sustainable, and things that you can do today. So what I want you to remember from today is that you can add plants to your plate. You can stop hopping from autoimmune diet to autoimmune diet, because ultimately what works physiologically in your body will be different than what works for others. And that's okay. It doesn't mean that you're unhealable, or that you can't heal, or you won't heal, or there's something weird or wrong with you, or that you've tried all the things and nothing's gonna work. It's totally normal. It's totally normal to be unique and bio-individual. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to pop them in. I'm, again, doing this on my phone, so if there have been comments and questions, I don't know. I'm not sure how to see them on this, but I thank you so much for tuning in and hanging out with me. I can see that a few of you are on there, Gloria, Tara, and a few more. If you have a second and want to leave a comment, share this out into your news feed. Let me know how I can help you. It helps me to help more people, help to reach more people, and help them heal their bodies from autoimmune disease. So thank you so much. Be well.